I cannot, technically speaking, be absolutely certain of anybody else's consciousness. It's possible that the rest of you have all been robots. I doubt it, but you know what I mean, though? The fundamental something, which is consciousness, is pretty fundamentally outside of our grasp. You can't just reach in and, like, find out. What you do is you talk to someone, you have responses, and, you know, I interact with people, and I notice that their interactions, even though we have different personalities, there's something about you and me and all these other humans that's very similar, and we're all conscious, as opposed to, say, someone who is sleeping and is unconscious, or someone who is dead, or someone who is a rock. You know, this rock is not conscious as far as I can tell. Or maybe it is conscious. There's, you know, what's that called? There's some, you know, the idea that, like, everything is conscious or has an amount of consciousness. What is consciousness? You know, what about, yes, I like to pick up random things after I drop them. What about, well, the ethics of this? Those get tricky. Because a whole lot of ethics, one way or another, is against the destruction of consciousness, really, right? Let's say if you put someone to sleep, well, that's okay, because the consciousness is going to come back in a few hours. Being a true destruction of killing somebody, well, that's very, very bad. Right. Yeah, and maybe it's justified for whatever weird reasons, but in general, you don't just, like, kill people. That would be bad. That'd be bad. So if the computer were conscious, does that mean hitting the delete key is, murder? If I delete this file that is the file conscious? What if I just put it to sleep? Like, what would the freaking difference be? I don't know. Particularly with computers, they're infinitely reproducible. Like, you could kill the theoretically conscious AI thing and then just bring it back from backup. Now, did it die? You know? Does it know it died? What if you delete it and then you bring it back and you make it think that it was never deleted in the first place? You, like, you know, screw with its memory files or its logic files or something, so, like, it doesn't even realize that you ever deleted it, so therefore it won't, like, take revenge and destroy planet Earth or something. All these sci-fi things. Sci-fi's done a lot for just wondering of all the ways technology might turn against us. Ever since, like, Frankenstein, it's like, you know, if we build this artificial thing, it might not like us. Okay. So, yeah, what if, like, what is the difference between, say, killing something and then bringing it back so it was never really dead in the first place, and on the other hand, like, killing something and then making something new which is relatively similar to the old thing? Everyone has, like, freedom of thought, for instance. So if we go into the AI program and, like, we delete a file, is that, like, you know, we're destroying its freedom of thought? But we're the ones who made these files in the first place. How smart do they need to be before they pass this threshold of being human or something? And maybe that's one of the things we find out, is that there isn't, like, a threshold. It's like kind of a spectrum. Here's a really weird thing. Now, some people say, it doesn't matter, because we can't create a true AI anyway. Well, as I pointed out, we can create something that looks like an AI, and even that's going to throw our ethical considerations into a hurricane. But secondly, what if we can? Now, here's one thing against the creation of an AI, and that is everything we do, everything we make, is reflective of intelligence one step down, so to speak. So what that means is like, man makes, let's see, caveman or whatever has some wood he needs to chop. Make a fire. He really cave fire. Right, he gets some wood and he like breaks it on his knee or something, and then he starts making a fire. Then caveman invents like axe, which is probably just a big rock, and then and learns to like sharpen this thing. So the rock, the axe, the sharp axe thingy, knows how to cut. It was built for cutting, but it doesn't know how to make things that know how to cut. Right? And industrialized man, thousands of years later, or millions of years, whatever, makes a machine that can produce 100 axes in a day. So this machine knows how to make the thing that makes the thing that cuts the wood. Right? But the machine itself does not know how to make a machine that makes a machine that makes the thing that cuts the wood. You see what I'm saying? Well, the idea of this, I don't know if there should be a name for this theory, but the idea is like we have to be one step ahead. We teach the computer how to play chess, right? But we know, how to say how to learn to beat any game, right? The computer just knows chess, and then we can teach the computer, and they're working on this, a program for beating any game. But we're still the ones who know how to make programs to teach the computer how to beat any game. And then even if we teach the computer to make those sorts of high-level programs, then we must have made a program to tell it to make that program, and so we are even smarter. Aha! Aha! Like this incredible one-upmanship. That's the idea of it. Maybe. And Chinese box, and it's okay, maybe AI is impossible. Maybe we can't create something as smart as ourselves. Except, wait a minute. We've already done that. In fact, we've done it several billions of times. It's called reproduction. And humans, again quite consciously, perform this activity which leads to the production of another human. And this other human is, to the best of our knowledge, just as smart and just as conscious as his or her parents. Right? So consider this. Even if AI is impossible on the silicon level, on the programming level, it is possible on the biological level. Because if it's not possible on the biological level, then you and I and everyone is apparently not really a person. Right? Because we all came out of that process. And if furthermore, we take out of the normal way, the woman's womb and everything, and let's say we do it in a lab, what if we had a, in vitro sort of deal? What if we grew that thing to maturity? Became a full-fledged infant, and then later a full-fledged adult? That would be just as conscious as anybody, right? Right? Okay. But then we have ways of altering the human. Screwing with the DNA. Or giving it drugs or something, to mess with it this way or that way. Obviously, there are mind-altering drugs out there. Imagine if we perfect these, instead of being street drugs, what if it's clinical things? What if we go into Brave New World? You ever read a Brave New World? Where everyone in the world is made in test tubes, and they're made according to the rigors of society and such.